Welcome back, and this is part 2 where we're going to actually start making something on this project. So we want to create a body for a pedestal guitar. We're going to copy much of what we've done previously when we made the slide guitar. Pedal steels are really cool, and they just don't come up for sale where I live. And I'm really looking forward to actually having a go of one and having a play and really take it apart and set it up for what I think would make some interesting sounds. This is the design I played with last time, but I think we need to get into the shed and start cutting some wood. So here I've got some 45mm by 145mm treated timber. This is about £12 per 2.4 metre length, and I think I could easily make 2 instruments out of this. So I'm going to count £6 cost of this. I'll do a dollar conversion later. So the first thing I'm going to do is square up the ends. I'm not sure how straight this is. Usually this type of wood does warp and bend, so straightening up the ends just makes life so much easier. You can measure from either end, either corner. I'm not sure I did straighten up the ends on the last one because it was quite splintered looking back at some of the images, but it's a really easy step, and I'm going to try and take care with this and try and make something good that I'll enjoy. The size doesn't actually matter as long as it's larger than the strings you plan to use. You might choose to make a 6-string version. It's completely up to you. And as long as it's strong enough, but then even then you could add supports. 45mm is about the thickness of a guitar, so that should easily be thick enough in my opinion. Treated wood isn't ideal, as it will contain some pretty nasty chemicals, but as long as we kind of make sure we're well ventilated, we wear a dust mask, we should be fine. It's basic health and safety that we should be doing anyway. So I'm going to move on to the bandsaw, and I'm going to try and cut out the headstock. And I know I'm going to get some comments saying, oh, well, this isn't cheap to make. Oh, you've already got the tools. You're not including the price of those. I'm going to use the tools that are available to me. And I've kind of gathered these over many years doing lots of projects. And I know for a fact that you can do all of this with some basic hand tools. And you could borrow these, you could find these at a local hack space. And it's as you do more projects like this that you build up the tools and you build up methods and techniques of how to do this. We could use a rasp, you could use a plane, you could use a chisel. There's so many ways you could make the wood the shape you want it. Don't limit yourself by seeing my method and going, oh, I've got to do it this way. You really don't. There's so many different options. So I'm trying to smartly remove the material. So I've done the cuts diagonally, but I haven't completed them so that the wood will still rest flat on the saw and all the cuts should be perpendicular. It's probably not perfect, but with a bit of sanding I think it will kind of straighten out. I've marked up where I want to cut, but I'm going to try and smooth these just to kind of not have any stress razors or any points of interest that are a bit ugly. As no cut is going to be perfect. So yeah, lots of sanding afterwards. But once more, I'm going to try and take my time and make something good. So next I'm going to try and make the cut through for the bridge. And this is something that I actually struggled with because this hole is quite a decent thickness. So I initially started by drilling a hole and then using a jigsaw to cut the outline. But it was just not quite deep enough with the jigsaw. I guess I could have got some longer blades, but I didn't have them at hand. So I did what I could and then completed the cut with a chisel and hammer. But yeah, as you do different projects, you do kind of learn different techniques and you kind of spot different problems and you kind of think, all right, how would I do that again in the future? And I definitely would do it a different way. Maybe drill a hole in a scroll saw, because then we could put like a blade through it. I'd maybe drill more holes and kind of sand them. There is, as I say, millions of ways to achieve these goals when working with wood. And you just got to be smart to know what you've got available and what's going to give you a good result for, I guess, minimum effort. I guess a router could work. I don't know. I'd be interested to know what you'd think would be the best tool to make this cut and what you would do. So I'm trying to work with myself, I'm trying to be safe. Chisels are so sharp and you use so much force that if you were to slip and be pushing towards yourself, oh, I dread to think. But yeah, be safe if you're going to try and do anything like this. Always work away from yourself. But this is starting to take shape really quickly, and I think it's really inspiring that we've got something that resembles what we were trying to create very quickly. I know there's a lot to do with this, and there's going to be a few more parts of this video, but that's really good. So while I've been doing this project, I've been trying to research as much as I can on pedal steel guitars, and there seems to be two main tunings, one called an E9 and one a C6. There are guides showing you how pedals and knee levers are set up, but then actually looking at different players, it seems like almost every player has their own little tweak of what the standard setup is. And I think that's really cool, but it's really difficult when making an instrument like this. Like, it'd be good if there was like a standard one I could aim for, and then I know what I need to recreate. But I'm going to try and inject my own music theory into this, and we'll see where we end up. But if you do know how to play one of these, you do know how they should be set up, do put some comments below. Try and keep me right on this. I'm sure some small comments now will save me a lot in the future. I think one thing I noticed is that this guitar is considered relatively new, and people don't seem to be that consistent, as I say. So it does give me hope that my design might be accepted to be a pedal steel guitar, even though I'm going to try and miss out on a lot of the mechanical complexity of it. I really do need to talk to someone who plays this pedal steel, and maybe a collaboration, maybe a YouTube collaboration. I really don't know. But yeah, if you've got any knowledge, or if you want to tag someone who you think would be good in the comments, I'd love to get your take on it. But next I'm going to do a couple of hours of sanding, get this thing round, get this whole looking beautiful with the belt sander. And there's been lots of material removed, there's lots of rough surfaces. It's quite rough when I received this wood, and the more sanding and prep that I do here, it's just going to make the difference in the final product. Now, I know I'm not that good at finishing final products, but well, practice, practice. I guess if I had more tools, I probably would put this through a planer thicknesser, and that would take away some of the coloration from the treatment the wood's had. I guess if I had more tools, I probably would use like a CNC cutter and kind of program in the shape and cut that out, and maybe mass manufacture these. We'll see where we end up in the future. So I think we've made most of what the body should be. I'm going to add the pickup cavity once it's a bit more progressed and we know what we're going to do with electronics. It's the same with the tuning peg holes. I'm going to drill and put those in at the same time. But yeah, I'm really impressed with this progress. I guess after creating the slide guitar, I am readapting and repeating a few of the steps, so it's a lot easier. I have experience now doing that. But yeah, I'm going to try and get these parts out as fast as possible. Do stick around, do subscribe if you made it this far. It does make a huge difference. Let us know what songs you'd like to hear on a pedal steel guitar. I suppose one thing I haven't mentioned is electric pianos, and why does that fit in? Because a lot of my channel does tie in with electric pianos. I think there is a connection to me, and that is that it's that metallic, futuristic sound. And I can only imagine how cool it would have been to be one of the first people to actually hear that sound. Now, I know that electric pianos have gone down a jazz road and pedal steel guitars have gone down a country road, but it doesn't have to be that way. I think there's plenty of crossover, and the more crossover, the better songs and sounds we'll be able to create. Tight casting instruments into music genres is a little lame in my opinion. But yeah, that's it for today. Stick around and we'll look at getting this to the next stage very soon.